Okay, בסדר. Excellent. So now we're learning Perek Gimel, Piska Bet.
Okay, so we spoke last week about tshuva mechuvanet for one avera that you felt was not right, and we said that's a good feeling. That means you still have you were not mushchat, right? That you felt like something was bothering you, and he does a tshuva and he feels free from the shackles of that avera, cleaner, more in his natural state. And now we're going to talk about the second type. V'yeshna o hargashat tshuva. Stamit klalit. It's stam in general. And usually, I think when Rav Kook says klalit, he always uses the word klalit as like hachlala, like the bigger in some ways the better versus in a prat.
Right. Rather than particular or the detail.
That's right. Yeah. So it's a more general type of a tshuva. Ein chet o chataim shel avar. It's not that a certain sin is bothering him or something from the past. Olim al libo, it's coming up on his heart. Ava bechlal hu margish b'kirbo shu meduka mod. In general, he feels, meduka I would say means depressed, but he feels missing, he feels empty. It's that empty feeling we all get sometimes. And you could just turn on the TV and erase it, keep moving along, or you could face it. And he says when someone feels that, shu malay avon, he's just full of like mistakes. She'in or Hashem elav. He's not living with Hashem. Hashem's light is not like he's not living with God. Ein ruach nediva b'kibo. He doesn't have this generous spirit with him where things are going great in life. Libo atum, his heart feels clogged. Maybe he doesn't feel like his prayer is getting through, or just doesn't feel, he's not feeling it. Midotav v'tchunot nafsho, his midot and the way his nefesh, his character of his nefesh, eino holechet b'derech hayashar v'aretzuyah. It's not going in the straight or the way that he would want it to go. Haru'uya, which would be fitting, l'malot chaim hagunim lenefesh Torah. For his nefesh Torah, he realizes the nefesh Torah and things just don't seem right. Not a particular thing, just I need change. I need to be somewhere else, somewhere new, somewhere better. Haskalato igasa, my intellectual capability is thick. I'm just not getting what I'm learning, and I think that tshuva is very connected to learning. Rav Kook says throughout the book, when someone's in a state of tshuva, the learning becomes more clear, he understands. Rigshotav, his emotional status, muravim, b'kidrot v'tzimaon, it's like dark and thirsty, shemor erlo, gi'u ruchani. He's got this type of like spiritual gi'ul.
Yeah, like goal, like disgust.
Disgust, like he's just not feeling it. It's mixed in, his emotions are not excited about getting close to spirituality. And he's embarrassed. That's not who he is. He knows he's a neshama. He wants to be close to Hashem, and he's just not feeling like he's living up to who he should be. Yodehu ki inu l'kaber. He knows that God is not with him at the moment. He's not having God's light shine through him. He's got like a layer, atul, like a covering on him. Vizoti lo atzar yotegdola. That is the greatest pain there is. Everything else is going good, but you're not feeling spiritually connected. There's no greater despair than being, further away from your spiritual state where you'd like to be. This is the greatest type of chait. It's not a particular sin, but it's the greatest type of, we're not talking about particular sin, so chait, greatest type of lack. It's a great fear of being like not connected to your source.
Right. This reminds me like so many different ways that you could, like, what are the, common elements of life that someone would feel this, right? So there's when they go to shul and they don't really want to daven, or they go to work and the day ends and they're like drained. They don't feel like they did something that was like meaningful or fulfilling, or they went to a social environment and it just like felt like there was nothing there. There was no like.
It's not excited for life.
Yeah, exactly.
And for sure in learning, he doesn't want to learn. He learns just like that's not doing anything for him.
Right. It's very dull, very dry, and it's interesting to take this and say that it's a chet.
But if someone feels this, that means that if you don't feel anything, right, then it's dull. But if he's feeling it, you know that it's a light, that it's inspiration from Hashem. That there's this tshuva stamit klalit that something's telling me I got to make a change.
Yeah, in different environments that I used to teach. One of the main things I would try to get across is raising our standards for the definition of what is a healthy spiritual place to be in. What are our standards? Like if you go to 3 times davening, like there's certain environments where if you manage to get to a place where you go to davening 3 times a day, and you're one who goes to davening 3 times a day, it's like you're the tzaddik in the neighborhood, or in your friend group, right? Or you're the one that goes to shul, so you're the tzaddik, and then you feel like, oh, I'm a tzaddik. But that's like a very, very low threshold, right? To just be somebody who goes to shul 3 times a day.
And someone could be there and not feel alive. He's not feeling,
Right.
You could daven without davening,
Right, but a lot of these things, I feel like when you think about Rabbi Nachman's writings, that he talks about how people that don't feel close to Hashem, he's worried that it's going to cause them depression, because their motivation to come close to Hashem is so great that and that's similar to what Rav Kook is. Like this is a paragraph that in many ways is very, very far from the modern man, the modern Orthodox man. This character of Kook, it's like clear that you need to be aware that you have an neshama, and that needs to be expressed, and that you're supposed to feel it, and you're supposed to express that and get power from that, be excited about it. And if you aren't, so there's something wrong. And in a lot of ways, like that feeling of something wrong comes from that expectation that it would be there. And I feel like in certain environments, that liveliness, that excitement of Avodat Hashem, when you look left and right, that standard isn't there. And then because you're surrounded by everyone who just looks like it's sort of mundane, so you don't even feel bad about it.
And it's nice that you spoke about the tzaddik in the neighborhood, because it's not for someone who's like, out on the street, who's hit rock bottom. It happens at every stage in life. This is not a one-time thing, tshuva. At every stage of life, if you get stale, you'll feel stale. Mm-hmm. The spirituality needs to be exciting and attached, and feel like you're being in a ratzui type of a way.
Right.
And the level's always growing.
Right. I guess what I'm trying to rationalize or tell myself is that sometimes I think a lot of people would read this and say, I don't feel that way. I don't feel a lacking because I don't feel Hashem within me. Like, why would I even expect to have a feeling that Hashem is within me? Right? That's something. And so what I'm saying is that I think that has to do with standards, and that is very, very much influenced by the environment that we're in. Like if there's certain standards of Avodat Hashem and of spiritual experiences. So like I said, like if you go to shul 3 times a day, like you could believe that you're a tzaddik and feel empowered by that, feel good about that, because you know that people don't do that and you at least do that. And then you're like, okay, so this is like a threshold that I got to. It's a place I got to, and you feel good about it. And what Rav Kook is saying here is for somebody else.
Right.
Because I don't feel that way. So do I have his problem? I don't have his problem. Like if I go to shul and it's like a medium experience, okay, at least I go. I look left and right. I'm the one that goes, so I'm pretty great.
What Rav Kook is saying is that really, since ultimately everyone could feel this and should feel this, we all have it inside. We're all made up. That is our ultimate desire in life. The ultimate happiness and the ultimate sadness when someone's not connected. If we just close our eyes a minute and get in touch with ourselves, we realize we need to up our standards.
Right, 100%. I think that's what I take from this. Like if I don't feel mitbayeshu ma'atzmo, I don't feel embarrassed that I go to shul and it's not, and sometimes it's like not so meaningful. Like this is like shakes me up. I need
a wake-up call.
Yeah, wake-up call.
Right. Okay. So it's not for one particular, thing doing wrong. It's just I'm not feeling this connectivity, that excitement that I should feel. He's got one more line, maybe a few more, about this negative feeling. He says, "Mitzmar mer." He's bitter. Hu alatzmo, about himself. Inam otzem manos. He can't find a way out. Mipach mokshimsho, from this trap. Like it doesn't matter what you try to do. He goes to eat. He goes to this. Even if he gets another chavrutah, it's not working for him. She'ein lo tochem miyuchad. He doesn't feel he's got something special. Raku kulo kamo natun besad. He's like heavy, he's thick. He's sitting in cement.
Yeah.
Mitoch merut nafshit zu, but from this bitterness.
I actually looked up the word sad,
Mhm.
and at least on the internet, it says that a sad is a old, like shackle that ties somebody's feet together.
I was using the word sid.
I know. I also thought that it was that in the beginning, but I think that it's like something that is like that you would tie to a prisoner.
Yeah, I ordered a Rav Kook. He has online. They have a dictionary for Rav Kook's works, but it didn't come, and they were out of stock. So I'm trying to order a new one. He has got his own dictionary.
Yeah.
But he says here though, from these shackles, mitoch meriut nafshit zu ba tshuva kiritia sharafei uman. This is actually a ritia, a bandage of a professional doctor. And that's general in Hasidut, and Vayir Vayiboker, there's night and there's day. Like from nighttime comes the day, there's many statements like this that from this darkness, there's meant to be this darkness. That's the way God had it come. It'd been an order from there for the seed that's planted underground to come out. So when someone feels this, it's almost exciting. It's almost exciting. I'm not just floating along. Pitom, I got myself to feel, or I became aware of the feeling that I'm disconnected. That is a bandage. That's already, you found the right medicine. Feeling unwell, feeling unhappy with oneself, that I need to move. That's an exciting thing to feel. The tshuva's on the way. The medicine's here. So that is an excitement. From this bitterness comes the tshuva like a bandage. Hargashat tshuva v'omek yidiyata, the feeling of tshuva and the depth of knowing that there's such a thing as that I could get out of here. Smichuta hagdola b'omek hanefesh. So smichuta, it's so close to my nefesh, or maybe it's somech. It has pillars. It's like it relies. It's standing somewhere in the depths of my nefesh, this power of tshuva. It's either close or it's standing, I'm not sure. Beseiter hateva, it's hidden inside my nature. Right? It's there already. I saw on Shabbat, they said, how could Yilod Isha, a man born from a woman, we're made out of earth, how can we do these mitzvot unless we parsha of like loving God? Like, who is God? It's such a huge concept. So we understand God, that you have this dveikut, attachment and love of God. It seems like how can we even imagine doing it? But if someone realizes that it's inside them, it's very close to them. We're made up of the God material. We have chelik elokam, it's inside, it's hidden in our nature. It's not that far away from us. It's super close. It's not something that's, how could we reach these unbelievable heights? It's within us. It's samuch or somech, hidden in our nature. The tshuva is there already.
Right, that's reminds me of the fact that the word tshuva is from the word lashuv, to go back. It's a fundamental idea, and that it's not an external experience. It's not like it's a question like, are you finding the best form of yourself, or are you developing? So both are sort of true, right? But in this context, like you're going back to your best ideal self before the sin. But you're also developing.
Right.
But that it was always within you, this desire, this motivation.
Shlomo Melech says in Shir Shirim, he says, Al Teruni Shani Shechar Choret Shezaftani Hashamesh, that don't look at me that I'm all dark on the outside and dirty. You could just clean it off. Inside, I have this pure neshama. It's just it's very easily removable. All these different physical things that came upon me here. It's in my teva. B'chol chedri Torah. It's in the rooms, the inner rooms of Torah. Ha'emuna v'amasoret. B'kol kocha, with all its strength, hiba v'zoremet b'toch nafsho. It has full strength that can zorem inside your nefesh. I'm just going to read that pasuk one more time. That mishpat. Hargashat HaTshuva v'omek idiyata smichuta hagdola b'omek hanefesh b'seiter hateva v'chol chedrei haTorah ha'emuna v'amasoret b'chol choka hiba v'zoremet b'toch nafsho. So it's a very powerful force that's right there inside of you, and it comes as this bandage for this bitterness. Right? It's not something you have to lo me'ever layam. It's not something far out that someone has to go and get somewhere. Rav Kook is telling us you could find it from within, which is pretty relieving. It's not something you need to go and work hard to get. You just have to look within. We have that power within us. Release it.
Yeah. We need to believe that.
Right? Which is the opposite of Yeush. Guy says, it's beyond me. Where am I ever going to find this excitement that I'm looking for? I'm feeling bitter. I'm not there. How could I get it? And Rav Kook's telling us, it's within you. Something, they say somebody you're holding on, like in a river, you need something strong to hold on to, and, there's something strong that exists within you. Like where could I grab hold of something that's, we spoke about, it's created a couple thousand years before the world was created. And it's something sturdy that's within a person already that's there to take hold and get out of the storm. Bitachon oz. You have to have trust, strong trust, and the security of refuah, that this is the medicine, the tchiyah hakolelet, in this concept of reawakening, the tchiyah, coming back to life, hakolelet, not just for a particular Averas in the first chapter, but for the general awakening. Tshuva moshita l'chol adeikim, that tshuva has its ability for anyone who reaches out to it. Anyone who wants to touch onto it, it's available for everybody, no matter how far somebody is. There's no such thing as being too far. We're in Parshat Nachamu now. It's there for everybody who wants to lidabek bo.
Right. It's a interesting idea to think about the tshuva as like a koach eloki, like a power sent to the world by God. You could speak about this as like its own entity. Tshuva moshita, like the tshuva is coming down and reaching out to you, and it's right there. You just grab it. It's.
If Kook really believes it, it is.
Yeah, like it's in the world. It's here.
It's a force, like an angel is a force, or the sun is a force. Tshuva is its own entity, and it's there because if it was up to me, they say ein chovesh matir at atzmam beit asurim. Like you can't release yourself from prison. You need someone else to take you out. But there's another koach that's coming in. That's constantly flowing in that could take someone out. You just have to hold on to it when it comes. Which is key. Because if it was up to me, I feel like I'm limited. But there's this extra force that's, and Hashem is machadish b'chol yom tamid. It's this force that's coming in daily. You just have to grab onto it.
Right. So it's interesting because, on one hand, it's the better self and the emotion and the motivation to. It's something that is internal. There's internal desire to be better, to leave this emptiness. That's already that motivation. It starts from within, but at the same time, you're pointing out that there is an external force that comes in and is coming close to you and offering you a hand, right?
It's samuch, it's close.
Right. And it's a tshuva moshita, meaning there's something that's coming in saying, come with me. And it takes me to the thought of...
external from within.
External from within. I was thinking more of like something of the back and forth in the talks. They use this language in Chassidut and in Avodat Hashem in general. Like there's this Hashem pitchuli petach shel machat, right? Right.
Petach ulam.
Right. Meaning open up take one step and I'll come and I'll join you and I'll help you. Right. Hashem says that to us. Like make a small effort, take one step and I'll help you take the next. Right? And then there's a question of if even that original first step that you took, even the motivation and the capability to take that first step really in its core it's also from Hashem, right? There's like this almost contradicts each other.
I hear.
So here both of those kochot are here. We're also giving the man the belief in himself and the power to take that first step. But we're also saying that there's some Hashem or Koach HaTshuva is here and to lift you up.
I think we mentioned last time, we said, or a few times ago, we said that Tshuva will happen. It's a force in the world. And the world will return itself and people will return. Like Mordechai tells Esther. He tells her, Al tedami b'nafshech limalet beit hamelech mikol haYehudim ki ma'acharesh ta'acharishi beit hazot rev v'atzala yamol leYehudim makom acher v'atu beit havidu. The Jewish people will be saved with or without you. It's your opportunity to take a role in it. Like, you're going to come back the easy way or the hard way. But if you do that little bit, open the hole, it's going to be a lot easier. You just have to move a little bit, open that petach a little bit, and the force, will come through this, or of tshuva. So Hashem will make it happen. Do we have any role in it? But we
Right.
could take an active role in it.
Right. But even on that's when we talk about the club, even when we speak about the individual, where we say we don't say that Hashem's necessarily going to make it happen for the individual.
I was referring to the individual.
Oh, you were?
I mean, I gave Esther as the parable as a klal parable, but I was referring to the individual. The individuals, like if somebody's unhealthy, all of a sudden he doesn't feel good about himself. He needs to change. He's almost forced to change and to become healthy. All of a sudden he gets a letter from the doctor that he's got to be healthy. Or if he's acting improperly to everyone around him, people stop talking to him, and he realizes he needs to change his way. Like people are forced into the position to be better people. I don't know if people obviously live their lives not good people, maybe not this Gilgul, but people are moved to come back to Hashem, ultimately.
Right. Okay, I understand what you're saying. It's
Even as an individual.
right. I know it's a little challenging for me to.
We got into Gilgulim, so I mean.
Yeah, if you go to Gilgulim, so it becomes a little bit.
I'm out of my league as well, so.
I said that, so we'll continue.
But the tshuva is moshit. Either way, the tshuva is available from it. Sticks out its arm from to grab on. Something outside of you, like it's a rock in the river, something to grab on, something sturdy outside myself a little bit. Ma'avir alav ruach chen v'tachanunim. It's giving to him a spirit of chen, of grace, v'tachanunim. Ki ish asher tenachenu ken anochi anamchem. I will give you a nachama. Even after the destruction of Beis Hamikdash, we know Menachem was born in the afternoon, that the Mashiach comes, even in the state when someone is in a low place, Hashem is there to give us a nachama. And when he feels this, as we did in the first chapter for Tshuva Chet, Rav Kook became poetic, explaining the amazing feeling that's going to happen, getting free from the shackle of that particular Veira. Sounds like here he's going to go into what he feels like when he has this enlightenment here. Margishu b'chol yom v'yom shover elav, and every day that goes on, b'haskamat tshuva ilai uklali zu, an agreement, haskamat, an agreement with this type of tshuva which came from above. Uklal is general type of tshuva, which is what we're in right now. Hargashat of nasi yoter, he becomes more and more secure as he starts to realize, I want to get out of here. He becomes more and more agreeing with this feeling that he had, more safe with it. Yoter mechaveret, becomes clearer and clearer, this want for change, and this yoter me'ura is more light, be'ura seichel. He starts to see things differently, and I've definitely experienced this. When you make a move of tshuva, all of a sudden everything around you becomes better. You start feeling more connected to God. Your learning becomes clearer. Everything takes on a new like beautiful dimension. V'yoter mitba'arot al pi yisodei Torah, and becomes clearer how my new tshuva fits in with the general understandings and foundations of Torah.
It's an exciting thing. It's an exciting thing to read.
Yeah. V'yinehu holech v'noher, and he continues to go and noher.
Noher is like from the
Light.
horses.
Noher from horses? I wasn't sure.
Right? Don't horses?
Horses do noher, yeah.
Right? To gallop, to run.
So yeah, he's holech. It makes sense. He's galloping on. Pnei azam halfu. This feeling of bitterness and anger, of feeling he was far from God, starts to leave. So even though this is stamit, as we said, a general feeling, it's happening in gradually as well. Like it doesn't happen overnight. It's not the havraka necessarily, but he starts to get out of this shackles, this sad that you said before. Or ratzon bav zorech, he starts to see the light of ratzon, of God's ratzon, or his could be his ratzon, or ratzon, like he's changing who he wants to be.
Also because it could be that he was once atum and he didn't have ruach netiva.
It's the hefech.
So he didn't have motivation and he didn't have ratzon. He don't have desire, and that's like the desire is the essence of life.
That's right.
And the people that are depressed, they lack desire, and if you don't have desire, you don't have life.
Right. You want to jump out of bed, be excited to do something.
You need passion. You need to want to do something.
Humit Male Oz, now he's full of strength. Einab Malot Eish Kodesh, he's got fire in his eyes, but holy fire in his eyes. Lavavo Kulo's heart is Nitbal Benachle Adanim. his heart got dipped into the mikveh, the rivers of sweetness. Kedusha v'tara, holiness, chofefet alav, is hovering over him. Ahava ein kates malei kuro. He has endless love filling up his spirit. He knows that he's like getting out of these shackles. Finally, he's getting reattached to the light through tshuva. Nafsho tzmei al Hashem. All of a sudden, he's thirsty again for Hashem. Ukomo chalav, or
It's
v'dashen,
it's chelev.
chelev v'dashen, tispa mitzimuna ze gufa.
Right, chelev is like the fat of the korban, but it's like very chelev in addition. Chelev is like a very high quality.
Yeah, the fat of the land in the dishun, the
Addition is the fertilizer.
fertilized tispa, it starts to satisfy mitzimuna from his thirst. Ze gufa, it itself. Ze gufa. This is what tshuva does. Ruach HaKodesh mekakeshet, and all of a sudden, Ruach HaKodesh, Rav Kook is throwing the word Ruach HaKodesh in here, which is like starting to get like support from above a little bit. Start feeling spiritually, because it starts to knock lefanav kazug, like the bell on a cow. V'umevusar, he's notified shtimchu kol bashav, by when someone feels this way, he knows that he's grown out of his shell. He's in a new state. The past is finished. He's forgiven. It's erased. The past. He's in a new state. How you doing? Ones that are known to him, v'she'eina doing, because he hit a state of tshuva. Even things he didn't know about, he knew he grew out of his previous status. Shunivra mechadash, he's bria chadash. It feels like a new being, like leiv chadash barali elokim. It's David Melech feels he wants to feel new again. Shkolam kulav chol olamim, everything just became new. Itchatshu became new because I'd seen life through new eyes, new set of spirituality. Kol omer shir, everything's singing in front of him. Chetot Hashem, they call the beauty of Hashem is filling everything. Dola tshuva. And this tshuva is so great, says the Gemara in Yoma, that it brings refuah to olam. The whole world looks better to me. It all got healed. The whole world was dark, and now it's healed. Vafilu yachid shasa tshuva. Again, we're quoting the Gemara in Yoma. Mochen lo ulolam kulo. And I think this last line, if I could just say something about it for a minute. Rav Kook speaks about this a lot in terms of tshuva, that when someone does tshuva, not only does he get forgiven for the past, but the whole world. So I was actually just talking about this last night with my boys, about how time is obviously creation, past, present, and future are all connected. And therefore, if someone, you think of it like a big strand going through time, and if you could change the strand even in the present, in the hoveh, that affects the past. Well, Kook gets into it in later chapters, that we could actually change the past and make it disappear, because it's actually the same entity. It's just, time is could be looked at as a creation that connects past to future. So if you could change it in one area, it changes the whole strand.
Interesting. That reminds me of something I learned, and I looked into, which is the concept of Zikaron Hashem. Like the idea of Hashem remembering, that it says in the Torah, that Zikaron Lefanai, or that Hashem will remember for us something, right? Mm-hmm. And that terminology is very bizarre, and it's hard to take as face value. Like, what does it mean Hashem remembers? Like, obviously Hashem remembers. Like, I'm going to remember this for you, right? Zikaron Tuah, right? Like, I'm going to remember, or Utkatem b'chatzitzot, right? And Hashem's going to be there to redeem us. V'noshantem me'oivechem lifnei Hashem Elokechem. So, in those psukim, there's the term of Hashem being zocher, and it's very bizarre concept. So I looked into it, and what I found is that it's an expression that is necessarily a positive thing that Hashem is going to remember for us. And what that means is it should be translated as perception, meaning I will perceive you in a positive way. That's what Hashem is promising us. Like if you blow,
it's not going back to you're saying memory doesn't. God's memory is not going back to the past. It's a matter of perception, zikaron.
And it's a form of creation of the future. Meaning Hashem will remember us from this moment, or remember this moment as a positive thing, and paint the picture and perceive it positively. And that is a prerequisite for the next moment. The next moment is always my interaction with and how I perceive and how I interact with the world from this moment on is always something that came to me or to the world based off of my experiences leading up to now. Me learning with you right now and feeling that Rav Kook's book has authority, and that I want to hear what you have to say, and that I want to sit in this chair. And all these decisions are painted over interactions that I've had that brought me to this moment that then make me act in a certain way and see this in a positive light and feel good about what I'm doing. That's how we live. So Hashem promising that He's going to remember us. Right? Zacharti la chesed ne'urayich. That's like a perfect example also. That Hashem's going to remember us for the good. Meaning in the Midbar, if you look at those 40 years, right? There's a lot of stories in Sefer Shmonim HaMidbar that things are not so positive. But the Navi says that Hashem remembers, Zacharti la chesed ne'urayich, ahavat kerelotayich, lechtech alai b'midbar.
That's how he's painting and
He
perceiving.
looks back and he says, you went after me, there was no food, and there was no water, and you just trusted me, and I'm remembering that as the love of our first relation, ahavat
I'm remembering it now. That's how I'm painting you now.
Exactly,
When
and that's how I see you.
God's name, Yud Kei Vav Kei, is the Hova that we know. It's always in the Hova how He's perceiving us.
So that's how He sees us, and that is what creates the next interaction based off of the positive perspective that was built on the previous experiences.
Yafe Mod. And there's another additional line I want to add in here that he says here, besides the fact you're able to be mochel from the past, he says the whole world gets mocheled.
Right,
if I do tshuva. So for this, I mean, it's a concept throughout. He brings this down a lot. I mean, it's a Gemara in Yoma, is that when somebody, just imagine, the Jewish people, our neshamas come from the same place underneath the Kisei Kavod. Like sometimes I imagine Jewish people's neshamas is like one big ball. Some you're closer to certain people, maybe your wife and a certain mashpia, it could be connected to a lot of people, but there's a big ball of Knesset Yisrael, this koach of the Jewish people where our neshamas come from, and when someone awakens tshuva in the individual, right? So it actually awakens tshuva for the whole klal. He taps into something deep inside him. When you go so deep inside, when you tap into tshuva, that's going into your deepest recesses of a person's neshama. So you're back actually tapping into you're in your klal area, you're in your ratzon, which is the deepest part of a person. And when you tap into your ratzon, you're actually tapped into the deepest place where you're connected to all the Jewish people. So you've awoken that. You've awoken that tshuva, and that actually affects the klal, because you're not acting in a chitzionah area. I'm not like changing the way I look on my physicality. I'm changing something deep inside of me, and it goes so deep. Ratzon goes so deep that it goes to the part where you're actually connected to all the Jewish people. So if you could change that, it has an effect on the entire Jewish people, and you can mochel for the entire world.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, it's it needs more beur in the future, but that is my basic understanding of it.
I like the way you think about that. Yeah, it definitely is
Why should my tshuva affect the whole world?
Yeah, exactly. It's something that if Chazal wouldn't have said it, you would think that it's almost like a crazy idea. Now that they said it, now we have to try to figure out how...
we are connected, to everybody, Haftarecha kamocha. It's a klal gadol b'Torah, And so if you think about it in that way, it's an amazing opportunity as well, to make a big difference, in the world, within the Jewish people. Okay, so I think that's the end of Perek Gimel.